In our What Is Even Happening segment, apparently crime surveillance video is no longer safe from the grip of political correctness. The public metro system in San Francisco has seen a series of brazen robberies in recent months where teen mobs swarm and attack innocent passengers to steal their valuables. Surveillance videos of the robberies exist, which of course could be used to get tips and help catch the criminals, but we can't show you. Transit officials are refusing to release them to the public. Why? Well, these teen mobs are reportedly made up primarily of minority youth. So transit officials say releasing the video would promote, quote, racially insensitive commentary and promote, quote, a racial bias in the riders.
Can you help me out here?
Also, no.
How did race get into this when it was because they were minorities or underage? Is it only about the race?
It's about
not age?
It's about the race. It could promote racially insensitive discussion, but they're still out there. And also, these are repeated attacks. People who are riding the subway, I would think, or the BART system, could really use a look at that to maybe know how to protect themselves from something like that, I would think.
I think there's a lot of ways to combat a very systematic and oppressive dynamic that goes on against people of color in this country. That's not one of them. So, just that simple.
And it creates additional problems, right?
The BART transit system, I mean, they have a $35 million deficit. Their time could be, and management could be better spent. But it undercuts law enforcement officials. The ability to do their job to protect the citizens, the riders that want to ride that public transportation to and from, you know, whatever area in the Northern California area. So, you know, I wish we had better reinforcement of our law enforcement, because this is something that really undermines their authority.
Is it, can I ask, Ebony, is it racially insensitive to name a suspect, a perp, who is fleeing a scene with a racial description? Is that insensitive?
No, not because if they're in active pursuit of them, that's important for public safety, right?
But
now,
there are municipalities
it's got to be consistent.
Who have frowned upon or actually told their police don't name the race of the suspect.
Well, again, I think now we're talking about a larger conversation where we as a society, I think, have been so irresponsible, right, when we talk about race and culture and color and things like this. This is an overreaction, what you're describing, Eric, and that's horrible. But indeed, I think the consistency is the problem, where when you see the footage and the coverage and it looks like person of color after person of color after person of color, that's when those phobias start happening.
Well, first thing I thought of, like you had said, is it because of their age? Because if somebody said because they're juveniles, we're not putting this out there, that would have been a different thing. When they said it was because of it being racially insensitive, going further, apparently BART received, once people found out that these were minority youths, there were just huge amounts of phone calls and emails that were extremely racist. Although I have to say, you know, as a liberal living in very diverse Southern California, having formerly lived in Northern California, the people can handle it. They want BART to be transparent. And remember that minorities are also victims of these crimes. That we want to catch these individuals. One of the crimes was violent. One was stealing of a cell phone. But nonetheless, if you can protect. And by the way, the liberal San Franciscans out there have complained that BART as well.
And BART has a history with this. We're looking at Oscar Grant case, things of this nature, where they have been at fault and they have not been responsible. That's what I'm saying. I think they're trying to kind of make up for some bad behavior on their part.